All right, so we're now going to put the instrument together. I'm sure when you took the instrument home, in its case, you can see that it comes in many different parts, and this makes it safe for transporting and carrying around. So let's take a look at the case with the clarinet disassembled and all of its parts. I like to put the clarinet together starting from the bottom of the instrument and working my way up. So I'm taking bigger pieces first. The very bottom of the instrument is a piece called the bell. It's the one that has the flare, and it doesn't have any keys on it, so it's very easy to handle. The next important part of the clarinet is the longest piece. This is called the lower joint. It's got a lot of keys on it, and it has a little piece in the back, which is called a thumb rest, and this is where we put our thumb when we're playing the instrument. So all of the tendons between the joints have cork on them, and you basically take each piece in each hand and very gently kind of work your way back and forth and slide the two pieces together like that. So the bell is on the lower joint now. All right, the next part is the most cautious and careful part because it involves putting the two pieces together that have the most amount of keys. Now, you probably notice that the keys are made of metal, but they can be bent if they're not handled properly. So there's a really good strategy for putting these two together. The next piece, which is the upper joint, has keys that have rings on them. So you can see there's some holes on the front. There's one hole on the back with a long register key. In your right hand, think about the large part of the muscle of your hand with a sort of a palm and your thumb muscle there. That part of your hand is going to go on top of those rings so that when you hold it, those rings are going to go down. You'll notice there's a key that extends past the body of the instrument. When I put my hand on those rings, that key goes up and down. It's really important that it's going to be up when we're putting these two next pieces together. So I take the lower joint in my left hand. My right hand has those keys depressed, and that little key is open. And I'm going to just fit the cork into the hole and just very gently go back and forth, keeping that key elevated by my fingers. And you can see that over the joint here, that key that extends past fits right on top of another counterpart in the lower joint. You want to make sure that those line up. All right. The next part of the instrument is a short piece, again with no keys. This is called a barrel, and it fits right on top of the upper joint. And the instruments are designed so that the labels should line up with each other. That's to ensure that they're in the best position for playing in tune. All right, the next part is the mouthpiece. Now, you probably have a cap and a ligature on top of your mouthpiece. We're going to take both of those off in order to assemble the instrument. The cap comes off. The ligature, which is this little piece that will hold a reed on, that comes off as well. So you just have this part. Again, you put the cork inside the hole. And then the mouthpiece, you can see, has an interesting shape. There's a flat part with a hole in it. That has to line up with the key on the back of the upper joint. You have a long key here with a single hole and also the thumb rest. So that's the position for the mouthpiece. The next part is called the reed. Now this is the part that's very important because it's what vibrates to make our sound. The reed is also made out of a material that's a plant, and it's also very fragile. So you want to take a lot of care in putting this part of the instrument together. That ligature is going to just rest very loosely without tightening it. Just rest it on your mouthpiece like that. I have a case that I put all of my reeds in that helps keep them from breaking and helps me keep track of the reeds that I have. So I'm going to select a reed from my case. And the reed needs to be moistened in order to play. So often I'm going to put this just using my saliva in my mouth and handling it also very gently in my mouth. You don't want to jam it in with your teeth or bite down. Certainly don't want to, hang on to it with the teeth and move it around. So you want to be just very gentle with this. So I'm going to put it on my tongue first so that I know the tip of the reed that's the most fragile is going to be protected. Once it's moistened, I take it in my right hand and I use my left hand to help kind of adjust and move the ligature while it's still resting on that mouthpiece. And I slide the reed, the flat part of the reed, which is away from me, behind the ligature by lifting up the ligature a little bit. And then you can see that the tip of the mouthpiece and the tip of the reed are shaped very similarly. They have a nice kind of gentle curve. So by leaving the ligature loosely on there, it helps me sort of keep my reed in place, but still is loose enough for me to adjust into the perfect position, like that. Once it's in place, I can kind of set my ligature in the right spot, which is underneath the cutaway. Sometimes there are some lines on the mouthpiece that can help you judge where to put the ligature, and then tighten the ligature. You don't want to do this too tightly, because then it kind of clamps down on the thing that's going to be making the sound, which is the reed. But you want it to be secure enough that the reed doesn't have any kind of motion or it won't be knocked out of position very easily. So there you have it, a beautiful clarinet, fully assembled.